And I'm excited to serve as host or one of the hosts for today's event. And I just want to say thank you for joining us. I know we're going to have a good, informative session. And most importantly, this webinar is designed to be interactive. We've got some slides we want to show you and give some information, but more importantly, we want to be useful and answer any questions you have. So please feel free to interrupt us. You can just wave your hand or just come off mute and go back one slide if you don't mind, Ian. So you could talk to us. You can hit the Q&A button at any time during this presentation, or we got some time set aside at the end. I'm joined today by my colleague, Dan Rahe. And Dan, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks for joining us, everyone. My name's Dan Rahe. I'm a senior academic advisor at the school. How y'all like my new picture up there on the website? They just took my photo. I'm the undergraduate and graduate advisor for all of the IT programs at Tulane SoPA. So I'd be your advisor, go-to person once you come into the program. And again, thanks for joining us today. Send it back to Dr. Riles.
All right, thank you, Dan. We'll hear from Dan a little bit later on the admissions and advising component. Okay, let's talk about who we are and what we're doing. Tulane University is made up of 10 different schools, and you're going to be a part of what we call the SoPA family. SoPA is the School of Professional Advancement. You know, if you're not familiar with Tulane, you may know some of the history. One of the things that I think is important that I always like to share is that our school, the School of Professional Advancement, SoPA, actually goes back a very long time in the university's history. This school has always been focused on working adults and having applied learning. We're very diverse. We have students ranging from 17 up to 77. And like I said, it goes back far in history. The university was founded in 1834, and the predecessor to SoPA was formed in 1886. It started out as an outreach division for a mission to offer classes to teachers. Ever since then, it's been under various iterations for the school. It was named University College in 1942. And after a little weather event of Hurricane Katrina, it was named the School of Continuing Studies. And most recently in 2017, it was named SoPA. And it's actually quite unique as far as elite private universities having this kind of commitment and focus towards applied learning as is relevant to the workplace. You know, and Tulane and SoPA, you know, we're headquartered in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I looked at some of the registrations. A lot of you are from the area. And if you're not, you're still part of the campus, whether you're taking an online program or you coming to the campus, taking some of the classes on ground. And it's a beautiful campus. And most importantly, once you finish your program and you get ready to graduate, you're going to come to graduation. You're going to walk across that awesome stage and shake the dean's hand and be there with the president of the university and all the celebrations around graduation on this historic campus in Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana. And with that, you will be graduating with a Tulane degree. You will be part of the School of Professional Advancement, but your diploma and your degree will have Tulane University. Your classes will be taught by Tulane faculty. You're going to be in Tulane programs. It's a unique thing to have this online education available to you for working adults to be right alongside every other Tulane student. Once you come to that graduation I was telling you about, when you get your diploma, you'll be sitting in the same area with people from the Tulane Medical School and all the other Tulane schools across on the same thing, listening to the same speakers, getting your diploma as well. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about in today's webinar. We're going to talk about the programs and some of the faculty we have in the IT program. We're going to talk about the learning experience. What's it going to be like to be a student? And Dan's going to talk about some of the student support and how to get started, you know, and what it all gets involved with. So let's get started. You know, what makes Tulane SoPA a little bit different? Well, one thing you think about Tulane University, one of the first things that comes to everyone's mind, it's expensive. It's very expensive. And it is for a lot, but fortunately, if you're coming in through the School of Professional Advancement, the SoPA difference is actually quite affordable, right in line with many state schools. And you're still part of that Tulane family of that top 50 university in the nation. And I'll talk about our faculty in just a little bit, but our faculty are industry tech executives. They're not just people who've been to school their whole lives and career academics and they can write a paper about technology. No, these are people who have been there and done that, and you're going to get to network with them as well. We've got lots of mentorship programs. One example is the Women in Tech mentorships. We have a national level advisory board where these are people who are hiring graduates. They advise us on the program leadership of what we should be doing and not doing, and what courses and what technologies we should be teaching. These are high hitters. One of the advisor board members is my mentor, and she was the former CIO for the Department of Defense for the entire country. We have executives from Google, Microsoft, all the other top executives across the country, and some from the local regional level as well. The program, whether it's an undergraduate or graduate degree program, is built around not just the techie components of how to turn the nerd knobs. It's about, how to communicate in a business environment with governments and leadership using technology to solve problems. But it's also hands-on as well. You're going to have access to over 450 labs, interactive labs, where your fingers are on the keyboard. You are turning those nerd knobs. You are powering up servers, whether it's cloud or you're doing some cybersecurity forensics. Very, very hands-on, depending on what program curriculum you're concentrating in. And I mentioned earlier, this is a very hands-on applied, but it's also an academic program as well. You'll be it's from a fully accredited national accreditation and regional accreditation from the top accreditors in the country. So it's very academically sound if you want to progress your academic career further. But also, we don't just teach concepts and theories using any kind of technology. We use technology that will be used in the workplace today. For example, if you're doing cloud things, you're going to get logged into AWS cloud environments, and you're spinning up cloud servers and virtual machines and things like that. Real things you'll be doing in the world, but we're using that to teach sound academic concepts. And I mentioned AWS. Along the way of your degree, not only are you going to be earning college credit, you could also going to be earning certifications as well. As a professor and a career advisor, I always get this question all the time. Well, should I get my college degree or my master's degree or bachelor's degree, or should I go out and get certifications like Microsoft or Amazon or Google or things like that at CompTIA? Should I get one of those certifications or a college degree? Where our answer in the program is, well, it's not an either or conversation. It's actually both. And we can allow that. You can take some of the classes and you will get college credit, but you will also be getting prepped for a certification exam as well. Some of the classes even comes with discounted or even free vouchers for some exams. And some of these classes are focused on those cert prep exams. So you can once you leave, you have your college degree, you have a good transcript from a national ranked university, and you have a handful of certifications under your belt as well. If you're going into the master's program, we try to make it as easy as possible. We want to get you straight into the learning, so there's no GRE. We have certifications, graduate Tulane issue certifications as well, that can stack into a graduate degree, and we can do a lot of fun stuff from there. So let's talk about, I think the next is we're talking about faculty here. I mentioned that earlier, that our faculty are industry executives. They happen to have advanced degrees as well. They're experts in the area, but they are former CIOs, CISOs, IT directors, cybersecurity analysts, been there and done that, nationally recognized. And the cool part about it is they're doing this stuff during their normal job, where they're being a consultant or working for large companies, and they're teaching you as well. So you're not just learning the theory, they can teach you, okay, this is how it happens in the real world. And also there's a networking opportunity. Many of our students create network with their professors, and it leads into a lot of career opportunities. So let's move on to the next slide. Here's one example of one of our professors. And she has a quote here saying that as a cybersecurity leader, she thinks it's very important to prepare any of the students to practical experience. That's why she incorporates her day job, which is being a CISO at a large corporation, into the classes that she teaches for Tulane SoPA. That's just one example. I really encourage you to go out to our website and look at our faculty. We got pictures, and read the bios of all the faculty members, and you would be thoroughly impressed of the people that will be in your classes teaching you. And that's just one of the examples of our faculty. So let's talk about what we're here to talk about, our different degrees and what's offered, whether you're looking for a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. And when you talk about academia, these terminologies can get a little confusing. We are the IT program, and we offer bachelor's of science degrees and also a master's of science degrees. And we'll look at each of these individually along with some certifications as well. The bachelor's degree in information technology. So at the end, once you graduate on your transcript, you will have a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. And you can also choose to concentrate in one of these areas you see on your screen: application development, product program support, enterprise systems and cloud, and cybersecurity. Now, you don't have to concentrate if you don't want to. You could just get a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Everybody takes the same core courses. Then after that, you will get into your concentration courses. If you don't want to concentrate, that's okay. You can just take any other courses throughout your electives and take your capstone and go from there. But if you want to concentrate and specialize, we have those options there. There's also the accelerated master's degree program. So if you know you want to get your master's degree, but you're an undergrad student, your final year, you can double up. It's a cost-saving things, and it will help you get your master's degree a lot sooner. So you can just, in 1 year after you get your undergraduate, you can finish your master's degree because you're taking undergrad courses at the same time as your graduate courses as well. So let's talk about our graduate degrees that we have available. We've got 2 different graduate degrees. One is the Master of Science in Information Technology Management, and the other one is the Master of Science in Cybersecurity Management. Now, some of the classes are combined. So whether you're a Master of Science in IT Management or Master of Science in Cybersecurity Management, some of the classes are for both programs. But then it kind of splits. The Cybersecurity Management program is more specific to cybersecurity. Now, notice this is a Cybersecurity Management program. It's not an in-depth reverse engineering of malware analysis and all that kind of good stuff. It's how to lead a cybersecurity program. Same thing with information technology management. The assumption that there's a technology competency already there. So you're learning how to lead programs. We're setting you up to be leaders of the department, future CISOs and future CIOs, things like that. In either one of these programs, you can also do concentrations like you did in the Bachelor of Science. In the Master of Science in Information Technology Management, you can concentrate in cybersecurity. So if you're not really sure if you want to go cybersecurity management or IT management, that option works out really well. Get the master's degree in IT management, but concentrate in cybersecurity. There's other concentrations of emergency operations and homeland security as well. Now, I mentioned earlier about the graduate certificates. I'm going to talk about them in just a little bit. So let's go on to the next slide. We get this question asked a lot. I see some of the questions pop up on the screen. I want to get involved into the master's program, but you know what? I may not meet the requirements. I may not have the GPA, or I may not have an undergraduate degree in technology, or I don't have a bunch of years of experience. That is a requirement to get in either the Master of Science in IT Management or the Master of Science in cybersecurity. But if you have an undergraduate degree in some other discipline, you know, whether it could be music or business or biology or anything like that, but not a technical degree, it's not like you automatically denied. Once upon a time, that was the case. I'm sorry, you're just not accepted into the program. But we come up with this way where you can be accepted, and it's through this Graduate Fundamentals Certificate program. What this is a core courses. You're going to learn the fundamentals of IT, things like application development, networks and systems, and cloud, and all these kind of things that lay that foundation. And once you complete that certificate in cyber fundamentals with the GPA of 3.0 or better, you can get automatically accepted into the full Master of Science program. So there's a way to get accepted even if you don't have the prerequisites of an IT degree in technology, or a long history of professional skills as you've been working in the industry. All right, so let's talk about some of these other graduate certificates. The cool thing is that they're all stackable. We've got a bunch of different certificates that are available, from IT strategic management to to cybersecurity architecture, things like that. But the cool part about it is if you're not quite sure you want to take the full commitment to get your master's degree, you can go for one of these certificates. Then once you get one, that's okay. They will count for your master's degree. You can stack them towards your master's degree, or you can do vice versa. You can go for your master's degree, but along the way, earn some graduate certificates, depending on what classes you take. Then when you graduate, you can have a graduate certificate in a concentration of your choosing and your Master of Science degree. So that's a pretty unique experience that we have there. All right, so now let's just move on to the next slide. What makes SoPA a little bit different, the learning experience? Well, what I would like to say is that we've been doing online well before the pandemic. And we've been doing online before online was cool. And our courses are built professionally for online. All of our graduate classes are online, and some of our undergraduate classes are online as well. But when we build an online class, this isn't what it used to be, where you just you log into a learning management system, read a few papers, and take a quiz and submit something. It's much more than that. The courses are built with expert content developers, graphic designers, subject matter experts in technology, and with faculty. And you have real interaction with your faculty. It's not like you just reading something and you're doing it. You will, just because it's an online class, a lot of our online classes, there's a class mandatory class requirement where you come to class, you talk to your professors, just like we're doing right now. I'm talking to you in Zoom. We use this technology. We use Zoom in our online classes all the time. So you'll have that one-on-one bandwidth with your professors and with your other students as well. So that makes things a little bit different. In our classes, we try to, all the labs and the exercises aren't just something you read in a book. We try to make them as applicable as possible, real world scenarios. And sometimes they're not real world scenarios. They're actually real world, like your capstone experiences. Sometimes your capstone will be actually working with government agencies, working with real businesses to solve a technology need or fix a cybersecurity problem. And that's part of your credit in your capstone project. So you can use that as a career building and a resume generating event as well. It's pretty awesome. And it's very, very interactive as well. All right, so let's move forward a little bit. And I mentioned earlier that it was very interactive. Yes, there's your classic message boards, things like that. It's interactive because you'll be meeting with your professors through Zoom. There's these hands-on labs you can be doing. There's these experiences. So when you think the idea, I'm taking an online class, it's not like you're going to go off by yourself, check your phone every now and then and do something. You're really involved in this class. It's extremely interactive. So let's talk about some of the career options we have. If you're looking for a Bachelor of Science in technology, you're looking, some of these would be entry level, but some of these would be mid-career. And there's technology job descriptions and job names are changing every day. By the time I get done with this webinar, there's going to be 5 more pop up, all related to AI or something. But generally, we're looking for cybersecurity engineers. A lot of our graduates get internships and jobs as network administrators, database analysts. Also, one of our concentrations is product and program support. That's the non-technical side of technology, where we learn things about project management, to be scrum masters and program managers, things like that. Cloud is a big one. A lot of our classes are evolved around cloud, and a lot of our students are getting jobs working for private business or directly with some of the large cloud providers as well. But what about on the graduate side? I mentioned earlier, and we can move forward there, that we're preparing you to be leaders in the industry. The ultimate you want in the cybersecurity area is that Chief Information Security Officer. In the IT management, it's the CIO type roles. But it's everything in between to up to that level. And we're grooming you to take on leadership, director level and above type roles. And these could be architects, senior engineers, but how to lead a team, how to lead an effort, how to lead a whole program towards these cybersecurity goals. And most importantly, how to match the business or the government or the organizational needs with technology. How to use technology to solve goals and needs, and you being that person to lead that effort. So now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Dan, to talk about how do we get started and what's it really like to be a student in the program?
All right, thanks, Dr. Riles. Yeah, so when you become a student at the university, whether you're a fully online student, like most of the graduate programs are, or an undergraduate student where there are in-class options available, you will have access to all the things that a Tulane student has access to. Among other things, you'll have an academic advisor assigned to you. Like I said earlier, for IT programs, I do all the academic advising, so I'll help you get on board, get you set up. If you have transfer credits, we'll work on getting the transfer credits evaluated and go through that process. So every student, you'll have an academic advisor assigned to you who's going to be your go-to person for all things, pretty much from the moment you start until it's time to submit your application to graduate in your final semester. Financial aid, you will have a separate financial aid advisor for that. All other things, though, will be, your academic advisor will be your go-to person. Faculty, as Dr. Riles already mentioned, we have expert faculty. They win awards every year, and they have the industry experience that they can bring directly to the classroom, which is really great. So you're not just getting the same old, monotonous academic side of things. You're getting a whole grasp of everything. Great networking opportunities as well. I've had faculty offer my students jobs when they were in their final semester. So there's a lot of good opportunities for that. Communicate with your teachers, with Dr. Riles, with Professor Russo, who run the department, because there are a lot of networking opportunities. And once you graduate, from Tulane, you will become a part of the alumni network. And there's a lot of other opportunities there to stay in touch and, network and so on and so forth. And also, we have a career advisor at the school who can assist you with basic career advice, touching up your resume, LinkedIn, mock interviews. What should I do now that I'm, any kind of thing along there, whether you're just starting out, even if you're just an undergrad, or whether you're already kind of established yourself and are just coming back to grad school now. But she's always available to you as a student, whether you're in your, first semester or not. With the school, or whether you're coming close to graduation. There's also a number of accommodations that students can apply for through the Goldman Center if they need anything like that. We have a great research library that everyone has access to. You can get a student ID whether you're remote or not. That you can use for various things, and there's just a ton of different things available to support you on your academic journey. To get your, degree and eventually walk across the stage. All right, next slide. Transfer friendly. So we accept up to 60 credits towards a bachelor's degree from all outside sources. Colleges have to be regionally accredited. But best case scenarios, like we get a lot of students from community colleges that finish an associate's and transfer over to us. A lot of them that do complete an associate's in IT will generally get close to, if not the full 60 credits in transfer, so that by the time they start with us, they have just the remaining 60 credits left to take with Tulane. And then we have the department has an annual IT calendar that they try to stick to as closely as possible, so that, you can kind of map out when to take the courses you need for your particular IT program that you're doing. Earn your degree. Oh, can you go back to that one? And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention a couple. Just wanted to briefly go over the application fee will be waived for all of you, as for attending this webinar. You will have a transfer student advisor. I'll probably be your main advisor for that as well. I've been doing this a long time. There are discounts and scholarships available depending on your background for various student populations. That kind of there just shows you the the tuition cost for, the full amount, the early enrollment scholarship, which you can do one time, whether a graduate, undergraduate student, where you basically register prior to a specific deadline, prior to that semester starting, and then you get a little discount on your tuition and whatnot. First responder, military, veterans, all that discount friendly stuff as well. And so that can make a big impact on, tuition costs and all that, because yeah. All right, now I'm ready for the next one. And credit for prior learning. So that's another way to earn credit if, say, you are still able to transfer some credits in, because this does count as transfer credits. I forgot to mention, for the graduate program, we accept up to 9 credits in transfer. If applicable, it has to be reviewed by either Dr. Riles or Professor Russo beforehand, before starting with us anyway. But credit for prior learning, if you still have some credits to transfer in and you have a lot of experience in a certain area or in IT or whatever, and you're like, I've done all this before through my job or whatever, then there's a potential to earn some credit that way, where you can learn how you basically put a portfolio together of your prior experience. It then gets reviewed by industry experts, depending whether it's an IT course, a business course, whatever area it's in, and then they give a credit recommendation for it if it's strong enough to be considered for college credit, so to speak. And that allows you to transfer in up to a certain amount of credits, whether you're an undergrad or a graduate student. And that is another way to save some costs as far as tuition goes as well. Yeah, next slide. Affordability, just getting back to the tuition, our credits are significantly, our tuition cost per credit is significantly lower than, our regular Tulane counterparts. We cater to, mainly working adults and non-traditional students. So we make these programs affordable to them that are in our area and also across the country, across the world. We've had quite a few students from outside the United States, and especially in the online graduate programs. But those are the tuition costs as of now. As far as undergraduate tuition, graduate tuition, classes are all 3 credits each for the most part. Financial aid, there's some information there. If you want to look into financial aid more, you have questions about it, there's a prospective or current student financial aid tab on their financial aid website. Just Google Tulane Financial Aid, or just do financialaid.tulane.edu, and they will be able to assist you as far as the financial aid process goes. Admissions and myself in advising, we don't have access to any of that kind of information. So that generally needs to go through them. And then there's that 20% tuition discount I was mentioning earlier with first responders and military and so on and so forth. So if you fall into any of those categories, then that would be an option for you as well, as far as a way to cut costs and whatnot. Those discounts do have to be submitted every semester though, and they are applied after the fact, I believe. So if you are getting a tuition discount for one of those ones there, you have to apply for it every semester. It's not just you get admitted and then it won't be automatic. They need to know that you're still in school and that you're still, if you're a teacher, they still need to have verification from your employer, basically, that you're doing that job. But all right, next slide. I think that may be all. Oh, okay, one more for me, or a couple more maybe. Graduate degree application requirements. The IT major requires a bachelor's IT in a STEM or technology major, or 3 to 5 years of relevant professional technology experience. That is at the discretion of the directors. So you'll want to work something out with them or speak to them. If you don't have an IT background, or if you have a little, then y'all can, work something out possibly to determine if you're admissible as a student or not. But generally, if you have an IT degree, you got the 3.0 GPA, then you can be admitted into the school. Next slide. Application process. You go to our website, sopa.tulane.edu. There's an apply button at the top of the page. Pretty straightforward application process. The application fee, it does say $50, but when you apply, they run a report and they'll see you attended this webinar, and then they'll be able to remove that. So that won't be an issue. It won't hold up your application or anything like that. You have to upload a government issued ID, driver's license or something like that to identify yourself. Official transcripts must be sent electronically directly from institution to institution or mailed in a sealed envelope from that institution. You can upload your unofficial transcripts, but it will not allow you to register for classes and be a fully admitted student until your final transcripts are in. If you're currently still taking classes and you apply for admission, you won't be able to register for classes until your final transcript is received. That comes up sometimes for students that are finishing in the spring and they apply mid-spring and then they want to start in the fall, and they haven't their degree is not posted yet from their prior school, so they have to go and get another transcript in with all that information on there so that the application and all that stuff can be considered complete. But for undergraduate, it's pretty straightforward. Once it all goes through all the channels, you'll get an admissions notification. The graduate program, you know, in addition to the transcripts, you got to write a personal statement. You need to upload your resume and whatnot, and then it will go to the director for review, and then you'll be notified at that time after that as well. Next slide. The scholarships, again, for the early enrollment scholarship for both undergrad and grad, for the fall semester, the application deadline and the early enrollment scholarship, I guess, is already passed now as far as the fall semester goes. But if you're looking at coming in the spring, for example, then if you were to get everything done and registered by December 1st, then you would be eligible for the early enrollment scholarship based on, you know, your classification as an undergraduate or graduate student. But the application deadlines are usually about a month before the semester starts. So the fall semester starts, I think, on August 21st. So about 3 weeks. And then in January, the semester always starts the day after Martin Luther King Day, to give you an idea about that. Next slide. Great. That was all on my end. Thank y'all for joining and listening. I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Riles.
Okay, I will entertain any questions, and you can post them in the chat. I see some was already posted. I think Ann's already answered most of those, or you can just come across mute and speak your question out loud, and we'll do our best to address those if we can. I saw one question that didn't get addressed was, you know, I've got a degree in forensic science, you know, would I be able to go straight into the cybersecurity program? Well, the answer is that depends. You would need to apply, and there's a section in there, and Dan mentioned this, you have to write, you know, a writing statement, an essay, a personal statement, and in that describe your history and background. When we review your application, that we'll take that into consideration. It will likely be an intense review of the transcripts and probably an interview with you as well, and to determine where we would best fit. We want to make you as successful as possible. So apply, give us as much information as possible, and then from that, throughout the review process, we'll probably be an interview, and we'll take it from there. All right, is there any other questions that didn't get answered already, or any new questions that anyone would like to ask? And it looks like we may have covered everything so efficiently, no one has any questions. That's because we're always working with Dan. He covers everything so well. Well, you see our information here, mine and Professor Russo. You can email us at any time. If you think we get out the webinar, oh, I meant to ask about that, feel free to email us, and we'll get that taken care of as quick as possible, and get you your response, or get you in the right direction of the person who could answer your question, like someone that knows where, like Dan here. So, all right, well, thank you everyone for spending your valuable time with us, and I cannot wait to see you in class. I look forward to seeing you in class, and even more, I look forward to seeing you walk across that stage and get your degree. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, y'all.